Hello, my name's Danny Sweeney with God's Little One, and we're focusing in today on starting a YouTube channel or videos, little clips. And so we're going to give you information on God's Little One and how it was started by my dad, Daniel and Betty Sweeney, back probably in 2006. They had an opportunity to go to Honduras and do some work on the coast. But there was a brother, Luis Vargas, that invited them to the mountains to see a project he was working on with feeding kids, and it arrested my dad's heart. And from that, God's Little One began to be founded in the pure mountains of Honduras. We feed several thousand kids 4 days a week, and his passing brought on a change with facility that he had drawn out right before he passed on a paper towel. And the family, and with the help of a lot of others, Brother Richard, my brother, began to put that together and put that was on a napkin into scaled form. And we have what we have now is the Glow Center, and we'll be showing some clips of that in the future of some of the services that we've had there. And so we just want to invite you to follow this, be a part of what God's doing in Honduras. Great things are happening. And if we have any information, we can get you that as well. God bless you. To be in this building today.
Es un gozo estar aquí en este lugar con ustedes.
And we're here for a purpose.
Estamos aquí con un solo propósito.
To allow the Spirit of God
de permitir que el Espíritu de Dios
to minister.
Got back from a trip to Honduras with Danny Sweeney and Pastor Snow and Lonnie Adams and some others. It was a wonderful trip, but during that trip it was a preaching trip, and we were ministering to pastors, and we spoke to them about, at one point, about determined, desperate prayer. And before we began that section, the Lord had dealt with my heart, and I asked anyone there that had a financial need, an immediate financial need, would you please come, raise your hand, and acknowledge your need. And at first nobody acknowledged, but then after a few minutes, a man and a woman both raised their hand, and I had them come to the front. I had them walk up to the front wall there by the door, and on each side of the door, I told them, I said, if you'll knock till I finish this section, I said, by God's grace, I'll meet your need. They both began to knock. And as they began to knock, we began to preach about how Elijah went and put his hands between his legs, and he prayed determined prayer until the answer finally came. We talked about how the little woman with the issue of blood crawled through the crowd determined. We talked about how the blind man cried, Jesus, Jesus, thou son of David. And would not stop. He made up his mind. It didn't matter. We talked about the Syrophoenician woman who had the little daughter that was demon possessed, and how God heard her prayer in spite of everything. She would not be denied. The whole time we were preaching, these two individuals were standing there just steady knocking. And they knocked and they knocked and they knocked. And then suddenly I said, okay, you're done knocking. We need to remember that if God can meet the need of an individual through somebody like me by knocking, that if we'll go knock on the door of heaven, God will definitely meet your need. It doesn't matter what your need is today. I don't care how big it is. I don't care how impossible it seems. You knock, and God will hear it, and He will answer it as surely as God used us to answer their prayer. We thank you. We love you. You get a chance, go to Honduras. God bless you.
Deja de decirme que tan pocas cosas tienes.
Quit telling me how bad you got it.
No deja de decirme que tan mal está tu situación.
You was able to walk into the house of God.
Si estás capaz de caminar todavía en la casa de Dios.
You're able to hear the word of
Todavía
God.
eres capaz de oír su palabra.
You're able to lift your hands.
Todavía eres capaz de levantar sus manos para adorarlo al Señor.
Quit telling me what you don't have.
Deja de decirme lo que no tienes.
I want to know what you do have.
Yo quiero saber lo que tú tienes.
Hallelujah. And if you will take what little you
No
got
importa que tampoco sea lo que tienes
and give it to God,
y se lo das a Dios.
a miracle is coming.
Un milagro viene.
I said a miracle is
Un milagro
coming.
viene cuando se pone las manos de Dios.
You haven't got a hold of it yet.
Todavía no lo han agarrado, yo creo.
I said a miracle is
Un
coming.
milagro viene cuando se ponen los ojos que tenemos en las manos de Dios.
Believe God.
Créale a Dios.
The disciples showed up one day.
You know, in ministry, whether you're in the States or in another country as Honduras, where we have our work, you go through discouraging times. But I guess one of the greatest impacts that I seen on the last trip that we was on was the pastors that have been struggling. They've been battling in this warfare that we are fighting for the church. And throughout the course of the week, the messages that began to bring encouragement and strength to them, I would say that was the most impactful, not just some of the personal stories that we heard, but just as a collective body, seeing the unity and seeing the group praying one for the other. It was a great blessing, and they were impacted throughout this week. We had great food, we had great fellowship, but the glory of God that came down and encouraged those pastors is what it was all about. And I know they left very charged, very moved and ready to go back to their field of service. And so I think for me personally, that was the greatest thing that I seen that impacted my life and their life as well.
It will be worth it
va a valer la pena.
when we reach heaven.
Cuando nosotros regresemos con el Señor.
We have to work while we can
Tenemos que trabajar mientras podemos,
because it's close.
porque ya la venida está pronto.
This thing's almost done.
Esto ya casi termina,
So we have to keep fighting.
así que tenemos que seguir
No
luchando.
matter what hits
No
us,
importa qué es lo que nos
we
suceda,
have to keep fighting.
tenemos que seguir luchando.
We hope you enjoy the video that we're trying to produce to get more information out to people on God's Little One. We have a Facebook, God's Little One Honduras Missions, and it has a PayPal account there if you want to donate. Then as well, we have an address that we can share. It's P.O. Box 904, Oakdale, Louisiana, 71463. And if you want to participate in any projects that we have going, it'd be greatly appreciated. I know you'd be blessed. It's impacted our lives, and I know it will yours as well.